Welcome to the Old Time Radio Westerns. I'm your host, Andrew Rhynes, and I'm excited to bring you another episode absolutely free. This is one of over 80 episodes released monthly for your enjoyment. Now, let's get into this episode.
Fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. His faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains, led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver. Let's go, big fellow. Hi-Yo Silver! Away!
Two men rode the trail toward Sand Rock in Texas. One of them was large and tough-looking. The other, with a round face and stocky build, didn't show the hardness that was part of his nature. The names of both Wally Stone and Stocky Yates were notorious in the Southwest Territory. They were known to be gunslingers of the killer type, who would sell their services to anyone willing to pay the price. And they prided themselves upon having cheated the gallows in both Arizona and New Mexico territories. As they rode, the large man Wally was saying,
"The fellow in Sand Rock who sent for us, Stocky, is supposed to be quite a big gun down this way."
"Oh, yeah? Who is he, anyway?"
"Man by the name of Carrington, Ralph Carrington. He owns most of the town, seems like. Runs it to suit himself. I hear even the sheriff takes orders from him."
Sure sounds like quite a big bug.
And he's big enough to pay plenty for what he might want us to do, Stocky."
Well, how come an hombre like him got in touch with you, Wally? I don't savvy.
"Remember Markle, the hombre we met in Las Vegas?"
"Yeah. Well, what's he got to do with Carrington sending for you?"
"Well, Markle used to work for Carrington. The law got close if Carrington got him out of the state. Before Markle left, Carrington told him to send somebody down there. Markle told him about me, so he said to have me come on down to bring a friend I could trust. He's got a particular job to be done."
"Ah, so that's it."
"Yeah. Markle gave me a note to Carrington. I have it in my pocket."
"I hope it's all on the level, Wally."
"Well, I'm sure it is. Markle wouldn't steer me into something that wasn't all right."
"Job must be something mighty special. Why couldn't he find a couple of hombres down this way to do it?"
"Well, he wants hombres who aren't known by sight. course, the names of Stone and Yates are well known, but if we just use our first names, no one will get wise.
Well, whatever it is we have to do, we'll charge him plenty.
We sure will, Stocky. Now, let's get a move on, so we'll get to Carrington's place before dark.
Right.
Get it back. Get it, Buck. Get it.
Late that afternoon, Wally and Stocky arrived in Sandrock. They went to the large house on the edge of town where Carrington lived, showed the letter from Markle, and were ushered into his study by an Oriental servant.
Mr. Carrington say bring to study. This study. You go in, please.
All right, Pigtail. Come on, Stocky.
Yeah.
I'm glad you finally arrived, boys. Sit down and be comfortable.
Sure. Sit down, Stocky. Don't let all the plush scare you.
Takes more than that to scare me, Wally. I do admit I wouldn't want that sneaky-looking servant around where I had to stay long.
You do Ching an injustice. He's a very loyal man.
You call that kimono-covered beanpole a man?
My friend, that beanpole, as you call him, is my bodyguard as well as servant. He's as handy with a gun as he is with a knife.
How could he protect you, for instance, if we had a mind to...
Ching is watching you and covering you at this very moment. Aren't you, Ching?
Huh?
We're ready to shoot.
Hey, for the love of Pete. Where is he?
Yeah, what kind of a trick is that, Carrington?
No trick. You're observant, you might see Ching watching through the eyes of the man in that life-size painting alongside the door.
Huh? I'll be doggone.
There's a panel behind that painting out in the hall closet.
Jumping catfish, Wally. Its setup is downright creepy.
A man in my position has to be careful. No doubt Markle has told you a little about me.
You told me enough, Carrington.
Markle sent me a close description of each of you after you left him in Las Vegas. I have them here in my desk drawer.
And you must know our names.
Of course. You're known as Stocky Yates and Wally Stone. Both of you are quick with a gun, and you're both wanted for several killings in Arizona and New Mexico territories.
Golly, he sure has got everything straight.
Yeah, but I'm still anxious to know what we came here to do.
There are two men who must be exterminated.
Must be what?
In your language, plugged. Killed.
Oh, yeah.
That'll cost plenty, Mr. Carrington.
$1,000 apiece. Take it or leave it.
It's a deal, as far as I'm concerned.
Me too. Where are the hombres you want plugged, Mr. Carrington?
Stocky, it's not that easy. You have to find them. One's a masked man, the other an Indian.
What kind of a local ID is this, anyway? There's lots of masked owl hoots running around the West, and thousands of Indians.
You couldn't miss those two hombres, Stocky. And the best way to find them is to make them look for you.
Stop talking in riddles.
Haven't you ever heard of the Lone Ranger, Wally?
Who? Oh, wait a minute. I've heard of that hombre. Wears a black mask and rides a big white stallion.
Exactly. And he hunts lawbreakers.
You mean he's a lawman?
Not exactly. But he gives help to the law wherever it's needed.
Doggone. Now, ain't that something? A masked hombre working on the side of the law. And why the mask?
Well, evidently it conceals his identity. He may be someone well known to all of us, for all we know. Sometime soon, I hope to satisfy my curiosity on that point.
You said to find him, we ought to get him hunting us. I don't like that idea.
He doesn't have to know who he's hunting exactly. You and Stocky could pull a few jobs within the next few days. Stop a stage, rob the express office, things like that. Cover your faces with bandanas so you won't be identified. You keep what you get.
Then what happens?
I'll convince the sheriff he should ask the Lone Ranger and his Indian friend to help catch the outlaws.
Where would the sheriff find him?
I found out he can be reached through a certain padre. If the sheriff asks for him, I'm sure he'll come here to this territory.
Oh, is the sheriff in with you on the
No,
idea?
of course not. But I put the sheriff in office. I'm able to influence him to a certain extent. He considers me a respectable citizen, and he takes his job seriously.
You sure got a good setup, Mr. Carrington. Markle said you were sure a smart one.
I hope to be smart enough to eliminate that masked man and his Indian friend before they suspect my hand in certain operations. They've already caught some of my best men, and I believe in playing things safe.
Yeah, we can see that.
I'll have Ching take you to a basement room where you and Stocky will stay. Later, we'll talk again and try to plan just how you'll lure the Lone Ranger and his Indian friend to their deaths.
During the next week, Wally and Stocky started to follow Carrington's orders. First, they held up a stagecoach not far from town.
Get it back.
We'll soon reach Sandrock, Ed. This has been an easy run without passengers or anything.
Yeah, even the money box is empty.
Uh-huh.
All we got this trip's a small bag of mail. Get it back. Go on. Get it back. Hey, look coming. Couple outlaws.
Keep going. I'll hold them all.
No! Hey, I better stop. Who there? Who, you critters? Who there? Who?
All right, toss down the money box, you.
Sure.
Now get going. Go on, get.
Sure. Get it back. Go on.
Two nights later, they entered the express office.
Yeah, I'll be with you in a minute, fellas.
This is a hold-up, Reach.
I thought I won't let you rob me.
Shut up and take this.
All right, let's get the stuff in the safe.
Wally and Stocky covered their trail well, so that the sheriff and his posse couldn't find them. Carrington made it a point to see the sheriff and strongly suggest that he send for the Lone Ranger, which the sheriff decided to do. Several days later, the Lone Ranger and Tonto, who received word from the Padre through friendly Indians, followed the trail toward Sandrock.
The message from the sheriff in Sandrock said that there were only 2 outlaws operating in that territory, Tonto.
Maybe them easier to catch than gang, Kimasabi.
Perhaps. They managed to cover their trail well. I understand in their most recent hold-up, they killed the express clerk.
And them ready to kill anyone who try find them.
That's right. They know capture means death by hanging.
You let sheriff know when we camp near town?
No, we got a line on the killers first. Sandrock isn't far from here. We'll make camp and try to get news about the outlaws. Come on, sir.
I'm sorry.
Come on, boy.
It was late afternoon when the Lone Ranger and Tonto pitched camp in a grove near town. Tonto went into Sandrock to get news. Later at the cafe, Wally and Stocky sat at a secluded table in the corner. Wally, in a low voice, drew Stocky's attention to an Indian standing at the back.
Hey, Stocky, take a good look at that redskin back there.
Huh? Yeah, he's sure a husky-looking hombre. And from that fine-looking buckskin outfit he's wearing, I'd figure he's no ordinary.
That's just what I'm thinking.
You mean he might be the Indian we're supposed to do away with for Carrington?
Yeah. That red skin fits the description of the one that rides with a mask on.
How can we be sure, Wally?
Well, wait till he goes out. If he mounts a special-looking paint horse, then he's sure to be the one.
The two outlaws waited patiently for Tonto to leave. Finally, the Indian went out, and Wally nonchalantly walked to the front window. A few minutes later, he returned to the table and sat down.
Yeah, he's gone.
Well,
Just like we thought. He rode away in a fine-looking paint. He's the Indian, all right.
what are we waiting for? Let's follow him and let him have a bullet.
Don't be a fool. We don't get paid unless we get both of them. The masked man along with the Indian.
Yeah, but if the Indian was out of the way, well,
Shooting it would warn off the masked hombre anyway. Rankin said if we found out they were around before he did, we were to come over and let him know. And he's to tell us what to do. Come on, let's get going right now.
Within a short time, Wally and Stocky were in Carrington's study. Carrington had seemed pleased when Wally told about the Indian they'd seen. Then he spoke.
From now on, we'll have to make every move count, boys. That Lone Ranger is clever. I notice he hasn't even got in touch with the sheriff about being here. I would have heard if he did so. It shows he's moving cautiously.
Well, what are we to do now, Mr. Carrington?
Which trail did the Indian take from town?
he rode out the east end.
I figure he'll come back to do more snooping, perhaps early this evening. It'll be a full moon, so it'll be bright enough to see.
See what? Just what are you driving at?
I want both of you to ride just outside of town on that east trail and hide. When that Indian does come along, get the jump on him, then bring him here.
Bring him here?
That's what I said. Circle the town when you do, and leave a clear trail so the Lone Ranger can pick it up and follow.
Holy mackerel, I don't get this at all. He'll find out your connection.
He'll come here to save his Indian friend. Nobody knows they're in this territory but us. And I give you my word, Neither one of them will leave here alive, nor will their bodies ever be found.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger adventure. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue. Ralph Carrington told Wally and Stocky to bring Tonto to his place. Then he stated that he knew the Lone Ranger would come to help his friend.
Just how do you figure on killing them and getting rid of the bodies, Mr. Carrington?
When you arrive with the Indian, turn him over to Ching, who will bring him here. Then you, Wally, will get behind the painting by using the hall closet. Stocky will watch outside until we dispose of the bodies.
What about the Lone Ranger?
Oh, he'll find a back door conveniently unlocked. I expect him to trail you here, get inside, and suddenly burst open the study door ready for action.
You're sure taking a chance.
I don't think so. Ching and I shall act surprised and seem to be at his mercy when we drop our weapons.
Yeah, go on.
The Indian will be tied to a chair in line with the painting. A masked man, of course, will naturally face Ching and me across this desk. When I mop my brow with my handkerchief, Wally, you shoot to kill. You'll have perfect targets.
Suppose we're seen removing the bodies.
That's taken care of, too. When I first acquired this land and decided to build, I had a well dug. About 5 feet down, they struck quicksand. I left the hole and built the house around it, so that the hole of quicksand is right under this study.
Under this room?
Yes. A trapdoor under the rug in front of this desk opens right over it. In a matter of minutes, they'd be disposed of without a trace.
Man alive. That gives me the creeps.
Yeah, me too.
It needn't worry either of you, unless you decide to turn against. Now go on up, wait for that Indian. Don't come back without him.
The two outlaws left Carrington's place and went out along the east trail until they came to some big boulders. There they settled down to wait for the expected return of Tonto. Meanwhile, after having supper with the Lone Ranger at camp, Tonto was saying,
Maybe me go back to town tonight. Me find out something, Kimasabi.
Perhaps. I'll ride with you to the edge of town, Tonto. Two outlaws operating in this territory aren't my only concern.
Me not savvy.
Several gangs around here have been broken up, but none of them had an admitted leader.
What that mean?
To me, it means that there must be someone in or near Sandrock who organizes gangs, and when they're disrupted, he's never caught.
Maybe that right.
Till that man is caught, robbing and killing will continue in this section. It struck me that those two outlaws we've heard of may be connected with that same person.
Him must be plenty smart fella.
Yes, I'm sure he is. Well, let's get the horses and start toward town.
The Lone Ranger and Tonto followed the east trail toward town until they approached the big boulders where the two outlaws were waiting. The evening breeze was blowing toward them from the outlaws' hiding place. The intelligent horse Silver suddenly raised his head and sniffed the air. He caught the scent of men and horses, and knowing they might mean danger to his master, he broke his steady pace and whinnied a warning.
Silver, give warning, Kimasabi.
Some Someone may be waiting in ambush behind those big boulders ahead. They're not quite within pistol range yet.
What we do?
They probably haven't spotted us because of the slight bend in the trail. Leave the horses near Royal to the left. Right, come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
Easy, boy.
I'm Scout.
Steady. Easy, fella.
Oh, Scout. Oh, fella. Steady, big fella. Easy, Scout. Easy, fella.
The sagebrush is thick around here. We'll keep under cover and circle around until we're opposite the boulders. All right, let's go.
Wally and Stocky had waited tensely for some time. Then Stocky spoke.
Hey, Wally, I'm sure somebody was coming along the trail. I don't hear him now.
Neither do I. Must have stopped. Sounded like more than one horse to me.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too.
I'll climb to the top of one of the boulders and try to see beyond the bend. Moonlight's bright enough.
You see anybody?
Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, I saw something. Saw the horses, two riders. One of the horses is white. I reckon both the Indian and masked man are back there.
Where'd they go?
Into the arroyo. That means they suspect something. They try to sneak up on us.
What'll we do?
Get out while the getting's good. We'll leave a clear trail, let them follow. That's what Carrington wants anyway. Well, let's go.
Easy, steady there.
Get it back, come on. Hit it.
The Lone Ranger and Tonto had started cautiously through the high sagebrush when the masked man suddenly stopped and spoke.
Wait, Tonto, listen.
Sound like two horses leaving King or something.
Yes, somehow they anticipated our move. We got the horses and followed them. Hurry. Easy, steady, big fella.
Easy, Scout. Easy, fella.
Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
The Lone Ranger and Tonto trailed the two outlaws to the back of Carrington's house. The masked man and Indian dismounted and cautiously looked through the back window into the study. They saw Carrington sitting alone, but knowing the two men had gone inside, the Lone Ranger suspected a trap. He decided to have Tonto wait near the window. Then, with his guns ready, the masked man quietly entered the back door. Meanwhile, in town at the sheriff's office, a man hurriedly entered and spoke to the lawman.
Sheriff, I just saw a couple of suspicious hombres riding along the alley as I come out of the back door of the cafe. One of them was masked, and they headed for Carrington's house. Maybe it's the two outlaws you've been hunting.
Yeah, by thunder, they might be at that. Now, Carrington keeps plenty of cash in the safe at his place. I'll get a few men and go right over there.
In his study, Ralph Carrington pretended to be busy at his desk, but he kept his eyes fastened on the hall door into the study. Suddenly, it flew open.
Don't move, you.
An outlaw? Why did you come here? What do you want?
I came here to ask a few questions.
Well?
Two men came in here a short time ago. Where are they?
You must be mistaken. I'm Ralph Carrington, a respectable citizen of this town. If you've come here to rob me...
Stop stalling for time, Carrington, and answer my question.
You go inside, please.
So you surprised the Indian, huh, Ching?
The Indian first supplied Stocky, Mr. Cullington. Hit Stocky on the head with a gun butt.
That Stocky's a fool. I knew he'd slip up somewhere.
All right. Ching moved very fast like cat. Get behind Indian and make him drop a gun plenty fast.
I'm holding the guns. Carrington, tell your man to drop that knife.
Don't be too hasty, Mr. Lone Ranger. You've walked into a trap, and a very well-planned one indeed. We'll go through with it without the man Stocky.
You must be the man who's been organizing gangs in this territory.
I knew you'd reach that conclusion sooner or later. I decided to get ahead of you.
I could kill you before the two men who came here come through the door.
Now, my friend, you underestimate me. I suggest you drop your guns, or both you and the Indian will die at once.
The Lone Ranger stood facing Carrington's desk. The back window was behind Carrington, and the painting was on the left wall, not far from the door. The masked man could see that no one was at the window. He realized Carrington had some clever arrangement for protecting himself and his servant Ching. The Lone Ranger played for time.
You're quite sure of yourself, aren't you?
Quite.
The Lone Ranger studied Carrington's expression. He saw the sureness on the man's face, but he noticed that Carrington's eyes occasionally glanced at the painting on the wall. The masked man continued to stare at the man before him. He knew the risk was great, and he wanted to be sure of his actions. A wrong guess would mean death for both him and Tonto. Once more, Carrington spoke.
You're trying my patience, my friend. I said drop your guns. Ching, move the Indian back a little.
Yes, sir. You move back, please.
The Lone Ranger noticed, too, that when Carrington mentioned changing Tonto's position, he had glanced again at the canvas painting. As Carrington momentarily looked to see that Tonto was properly placed, the Lone Ranger quickly surveyed the large painting. Then the truth dawned upon him. He went into action with a warning cry to Tonto.
Get him, Tonto!
Him shoot man behind picture, Mr. Carrington.
As the Lone Ranger fired, Tonto suddenly bent low and at the same time swung around with his elbow, knocking Ching off balance. Then he grappled for the knife.
Me get knife.
Hold him, Ching. I'll get the masked man.
Quiet!
Me have knife, and you take this.
Good work, Tonto.
Mister, I don't know what this is all about. When we found that white stallion in the paint outside, then looked through the window and saw you and the Indian, it came to me who you are. I got word from the padre you're on your way.
Hey, sir, we found this hombre out behind the house. He'd been knocked over the head.
Mister, what's this all about?
Carrington is a leader who has organized the various gangs in this territory, Sheriff. I was surprised that man outside. Another was planted behind that painting, ready to shoot. There's a trap for us.
That man lies, Sheriff. I demand...
I suggest you search his desk, Sheriff.
All right. Great gate. There's a small empty sack with the express company's name printed on it. This connects Carrington with the Collects Killing.
Stone and Yates are responsible for that.
Carrington hired us. It was his idea for us to commit some robbery so as to bring the masked man and Indian here.
Shut up, you.
I won't shut up. We're not taking a rap for you. He planned for us to kill the masked man and Indian, then drop him through the trapdoor under the rug in front of the desk. There's a bed of quicksand under there.
I reckon others have gone into that quicksand who knew too much.
Sheriff, Stone and Yates are wanted for murder in Arizona and New Mexico territories. Before we turned the tables on him, Carrington admitted he was the man who organized various gangs around here.
We'll take Carrington and the others in for the murder of the express agent. That's one body they didn't dispose of.
You can't prove anything against me.
Carrington, you're a stupid fool. Yates and I'll hang anyway. But we'll see that you hang with us. You're the cause of us getting caught.
All right, men. Get these killers over to the jail.
I'll leave them in your hands, Sheriff. We'll come back this way again sometime. All right, let's go, Tonto. Adios, Sheriff.
Goodbye.
I still don't understand how that masked man discovered my plan.
Smarter hombres than you, Carrington, have tried to trap him. But it's because he's so clever and quick-thinking that the law depends a lot on the Lone Ranger.
This is a feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated, created by George W. Trendle, produced by Trendle Campbell Enterprises, directed by Charles D. Livingston, and edited by Fran Stryker. The part of the Lone Ranger is played by Brace Beamer.
This has been a presentation of OTRWesterns.com, and we hope you enjoyed. Please take some time to like and rate this episode within your favorite podcast application. Follow us on Facebook by going to OTRWesterns.com/Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to OTRWesterns.com/YouTube. Become one of our ranch hands and unlock some exclusive content. We want to thank our most recent ranch hands, Steve, Technogod, and Craig, who joined us recently. You too can join by going to OTRWesterns.com/donate. Send us an email, podcast@OTRWesterns.com, and you can call and leave us a voicemail, 707-986-8739. This episode is copyrighted under the attribution non-commercial share-alike copyright. For more information, go to OTRWesterns.com/copyright. Have a great day, and thanks for listening.